guys hear me? Yes. All right. Good afternoon. Hey, thank you. How are you all today? Tired? A little bit? Okay. Well, I have an exciting speech. And I think, I will, I promise I will not put you to sleep. I'm just joking. So yeah, my name is Uzma Nishat. I have a career slide right after this introduction. Then feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I have some cards here. So I hope you guys enjoy and learn something from this session. So yeah, it's lots of products. I have 16 plus years. So I graduated from North Carolina A&T State University. Anybody North Carolina? I'm Maggie Pride. So, and then I have my master's from Iowa State. Cycles. Yay! There you go. See. So yeah, lots of boring stuff in the middle. All those products I have touched. But I think I have like fun stuff here. I think the aerospace games are really fun, like I do, and then this is something that I graduated from. And then I am a single mom, so that's why I have like my kid 2 times. But I do have pilot lessons, and I do robotics, and I go out for scuba diving. Just fun facts, and just for fun. Okay, all right. Now let's get into the topic. So the outline, I will talk about introduce you to what I will be talking about, and then lead you to obstacles that you can feel doing what I'm about to talk. And then I will give you guys examples that I felt I was inspired from. And then I will slowly get you into the program that I started. And then the progress and the step-by-step. And I want you guys to have food for thought before you guys go. And summary, of course. Okay. All right, so as you guys read the summary, I started a technical leadership program in my company. So, and that is shifting company cultures, and it's been like very, very rewarding experience. Like I go to a volleyball game and they're like, oh, thank you, Uzma, for starting them. It's like, oh, thank you, I don't remember you, but I'm pretty sure you're saying what you're saying is right. And so after attending, so my goal is to get you motivated and have some strategies that I followed to achieve, to start the program. Look for the bolded words, that's kind of important. I have peppered it throughout the presentation. How I overcame obstacles to achieve my goals and found support along the way. And feel empowered to shift changes in an already established company culture. So leveraging existing processes and gaining support with influential leaders, right? So the disclosure is, I still work for the company, so I have to be very careful what I share, but you guys will still, like percentages, and like I did a lot of studies, which I cannot share because I am still part of the company, but you will get a high level view, and promise that you will feel empowered. Thank you. All right, so the reason I'm not at the laptop is I want to engage with you guys. So some obstacles. So high level. What you guys think can be some obstacles? Anyone? Raise your hands. Engagement, good. Leadership's very good, yeah. Time, oh, that's a very good one. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's a good one. Anyone else? Good one, very good one. Yeah, so those are very good ones. So I can put together some of the initial blockages, like fear, okay? I work for a big company. There's already big, influential people. How can I make a change? And I'm like little fish in a big pond, right? And so you feel like, is this idea good enough? Where do I start? And hesitation, right? Oh, I don't think this is good, right? Oh, this way. Okay, gotcha. So, and unempowered, and maybe you don't feel like, again, you don't have the power to make the changes, right? Discouraged, maybe you talked to somebody and they discouraged you, right? And then novice, new to the company, unaware of the process. Time is a big deal, but if you want to make the change, you probably want to give the time. We will talk about that as well. Figuring this out. So, yeah, no, thank you. So, the way I set up, the way I thought about it, I want you to get into my head, is that I felt all those fear, those, am I good enough? This is not going to work. What's going to happen? Then I looked back in the stories that I can be inspired from. So, my mother, she's a professor of general history, and Marissa Meyer. I read a lot of leadership books, so I got inspired. Somebody big like Marissa did something, and then Tajma is an internal employee that made a difference. So I'm going to talk about these three people. Okay, so my mother has a BA, bachelor's and master's from Dhaka University of Bangladesh. She has a master's in philosophy and European history from the University of Strathclyde. This is Strathclyde, I think, Glasgow, Scotland. And then she did her PhD when she was 65 from Rachi University. That's also in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So when she was, teaching in one of the universities, she only had one student, and that was an optional class. And that student came to her like, if you don't do something, this is going to shut down. Nobody's taking history classes. And so she thought about it, and she said, okay. And also the students that were coming, they had financial challenges, so they were from very poor background. They sometimes had to get the boat to come to the classes. So she was the main mastermind. She, along with some colleagues, established a general history department in the late 90s. And that's the link to it's still alive. So her goals were to keep the non-existent general history studies alive, and then help others with challenging background to complete a bachelor's, right? So obstacles. So you're gonna find a theme. I'm always talking about obstacle. So it's not easy to make a change, like fear of, somebody said, to resistance, right? So she had to go to local government history. I remember as a child, and that's what it's in my brain. And I don't know if you know, those countries have really bad road, and you have to take something called public transportation called rickshaw. And she would go and talk to these people and try to convince them. And at this time, women in general in South Asia is not taken very seriously. So she told me that she faced ridicule, but she didn't let that deter her, right? So through her own tenacity, she kept networking, she kept influencing, and then she actually was successful. So the initiative is that she convinced the vice chancellor to use the university fund to start a separate general history department building. And then she recognized that the students are coming, so she made it very flexible. So you can take it from 3 to 5 years, right? So you have to understand who you're catering to. And then the curriculum was from the government booklet, and it was ancient Bengal, so Bengal history, and it divided into 3 years, like modern, past, or something like that. And then she grew the department faculty to 8 members. Now that's the snippet of the Department of History. I was able to find it, it still exists. And so you can see that that grew from master's to PhD, and she is the one who initiated that. And it now has 20 plus faculty members, and this is 90s to 2023, so that's like 30 years, right? My mom's name is not on the website, right? So I was like, coming here, how do you convince these people? But I know she did, and she has pictures to prove it. So the lessons learned is that she may not be recognized as a founder anymore, but she had pure intentions and her goals were met, right, to help others. And then despite the obstacles, right, the ridicules or not getting taken seriously, she networked with the right people and she was able to convince the university to fund her and also the government to give her a curriculum and establish and recognize it, have it recognized. So that was a lot of work. And it's still going on, and the success, is that many students who successfully graduated holds like government jobs. So these are really poor people. They are poor, I wouldn't say poor, from challenged background, right? But if you give them opportunity, they will do something big, right? So I have that built into my genes, and I'm like, okay, but I'm in the United States, like who does this crazy things, right? So Marissa Mayer, I read a lot of leadership books. So she is the ex-CEO of Yahoo, and currently she is a co-founder of Sunshine, which is a AI-generated company, correct? So when she was at Google, she was, I think, 20th employee at this very early stage. And when she was a product manager, and she and other senior leaders realized that it needs PMs, right? So how do you promote the PM, product management roles? So she started, 2002, she started APM program, Associate Product Manager. And that's that's the link to it still exists. And I was able to find more information. It's a 2-year program. The selected employees takes extracurricular assignments and evening classes on their own time. So then I researched, okay, it's still in execution for 21 years, right? And many have graduated from this program, and I read through the program, their feedback. They felt like there was a support community, right? And they felt valued, and they had, connections that they could talk to if they got stuck in job assignments. Overall, feedback was very, very good. And Marissa Mayer is still, so you can look at her name is still mentioned on the website, even though she left Google, right? So that's really, really good, because she was in the role herself first, right? She found that there is a gap, right? And then she networked with the influential leaders, and then she was able to start. She identified the need and filled the gap, right? So the key word the other thing that I want you to think about is the company culture. Are you choosing a company that will promote your good ideas? And I know I didn't go through all I've been only worked for like three companies, but I have faced some obstacles that I didn't feel encouraged. But you want to, I think that the key takeaways is that we want to choose a company where any individual contributor can get support with good ideas. And then there is an infrastructure. There is something in place, right? Marissa started probably from scratch. And I will go over what I did where there was some infrastructure there. So are you guys with me? Yes? Learning something? I hope so. I'm gonna ask you guys in like 10 minutes just to hype you guys up, okay? So the third one is that Tajma. She's an associate program director and senior program manager. She is an advocate of diversity and inclusion. And sometimes, I didn't write it down here, but we find that it's male-dominated and a certain, there's not a lot of diversity and inclusion, right? And so she felt the need, so the program management is she wanted to promote DE&I in program managers management roles. So she also leveraged existing company curriculum and system, right? And so Dashma started Rise Up Leadership Program. This is on her LinkedIn profile, and I work with her directly, and she's very supportive of what I started. She started this in 2017, and the goal of Rise Up is to filter out untapped talent to fulfill PM pipeline, right? So the program sources from ERGs. People know about ERGs, employee resource group, like veterans, Asian, and so she mainly sources from ERGs. So implicitly, she was sourcing a diverse group of people. And the program is a success, and it was supported by corporate and business unit. So I knew this can happen, right? Because I have a fellow person in the same company, right? She has done this. But I'm not interested in program management, I'm interested in engineering, right? So a little bit more tidbits is that it's up and running. I'm actually the first graduate right there. I know the resolution is horrible, I copy-pasted from another place, but the thing is employee retention, 95%, they will stay if you invest in them, right? And then this is 100% graduation. When I graduated, it was 100%. Then the graduation rate kind of went down, but it's about 90%, which is great, right? And then it can highlight what one leader, Tajma, can do to impact, right? She did it, and the development of others within the large company, right? And then she promoted, she actually have been successful in diversity and inclusion, and she had a very fantastic model of mentoring and sponsorship. It was working. So all I had to do is I leveraged that. Right? I leveraged what is existing, and I made it work. So I'm going to go through that now. Okay. So I started something called ACE. ACE is Aspiring Career in Engineering Development. It provides technical career path guidance, online technical training. Online trainings were already existing, Workday, and live instruction courses. So I had to go to talk to several very influential, very knowledgeable engineers, and I said, can you teach this class? Can I get this class out of that course? I had to lobby people to convince them, and they're like, yeah, sure, why not, right? And then mentoring and sponsorship opportunity. So I wanted to do what Tajma did, but it didn't work out, so I did speed mentoring. So you go around the mentors, and you go, and then you talk to them, right? And then roundtable carrier session. These were, so I would invite like a panelist every other Friday, because Fridays are on Fridays. So we would have like certain career path, like four different career paths that they are successful, they have already reached there. How did they go there, right? You listen to them and you say, how did they go to their career? What I can leverage from there, right? So there were 12 of those in the roundtable sessions. So again, I'm talking about background, but why did I start this, right? 3 years before starting ACE, I found it I wanted to be a chief engineer, right? And I was like, how did I go there? And then I found a lot of engineers that promoted, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong, right? So I had an idea, right? It was very selfish. I wanted to grow my career, and I couldn't figure out, but I found a gap, right? Same thing what Marisa did. She was in the role, and she tried to figure out to engage more, like how did she do it, right? So I put some sites together. I emailed the VP of engineering. I thought she would not respond to me, but she put me in front of other leaders. There were like 10 people in the Zoom call, and I'm like, okay, this is what I have, right? After listening to my pitch, it was not, I will talk about it, it was not the best speech. They saw the potential, right? And then they typed me up with very, like, some people so I can get help, right? And then from that, the concept evolved from there, right? But I had to talk about it first. I had to say, this is what I want to do, right? And I went to the most influential woman. vice president of engineering. I say, I want to do this. And she went and put me in front of a bunch of people, and they heard me. And then they sent me help. That's what happened. So again, company culture is very important, right? So in late 2021, after that meeting, I networked with more people. And then after 2.5 years, this does not include, this is before I even went to the vice president of engineering, right? Finally, we got the green signal to proceed. And I know I wrote this redundant, but it's important for me because I was like 2.5 years. So I was sitting in a car, and Raul calls me and he's like, they liked it and they want to proceed. I'm like, yes, good, right? So then I hired a team. I had more work. It's not just like you got approved, you still have to keep working, right? It's like your seed funding. If you got sponsors, people are gonna give you money to start your company, but it doesn't stop there. You have to still keep working on it, right? So we went through months of meticulous planning. I think I held 20 plus meetings with several departments, department leaders. They gave me feedback. It was just a lot of work, but it was very good feedback. Again, I did it on my own time, right? But it was like lunchtime. Let's tag these people, yeah. But you need to do that, right? And then we opened the application. There was 200 plus applications. I was working 60 hours. By that time, I had money to spend. So it was 60 plus hours to down select or select the best of the best. And we had 45 participants. And we kicked off the first cohort in October 2022. And then they're expected to graduate November of 2023. So it's November 2nd is their graduation day. And funding for the next cohort has already been approved, right? Who's with me? Cool? Cool? All right. Okay. So this is my step-by-step process, right? So what are my intentions? What are my goals? Or what are our goals, right? I wanted to help myself, but I also grew my network. I was having calls from the director of certain group. Why didn't this person get selected? I showed them the response, and I showed them how I selected, which I cannot talk about. And they're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I wouldn't have networked with those people if I didn't have any initiative, right? If I didn't have the courage. And it's not, everybody has their job, right? I had one person call me, Dale May. He's a really, really cool leader. He's like, Uzma, okay, my VP told me to contact you. Where do you need help? And I'm like, oh my God, these people are calling me to help me. That's why company culture is so cool, right? So I identified the need, and they said, yeah, it's a valid need, right? So the other thing I didn't talk about here is that I can write it down. So I did my groundwork. 50% of the company was under 5 years, and 20% were almost 20 plus years of experience. How do you fill the gap? And the company is if you understand the company history, is growing and growing and growing. It's the largest aerospace company in the world, right? So it was, when you put the numbers in, they know that this is gonna work. How did I get those numbers? I talked to HR, okay? So you have to, get those data, right? So identify the need, have it data backed. I can't share the data, it's because of company policy, but do your research, right? Get the proposal together. That's easy, right? But understand your audience. Have reviews, lots of reviews. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit in the next slide. Did you find your support tribe? So I network with a lot of people. I actually found a lot of people that were like, oh, this is a great idea, go for it. But I look back, nobody said it. So you go solo, right? And then you believe in it, and you go like what I did. I just emailed the VP of engineering. I say, I think you should do this. And then you just have to be tenacious, and you have to keep going at it, right? So I know one person said time. I did this all outside of my work, and because I wanted this, right? I really, really wanted this back. And then if you go follow this, I couldn't fit in all the slides here, but you follow this, then you go to proposal. Again, what is your intention and what's your goal? What is the gap? They want to look at numbers. What is the return of investment? So remember, I have the Rise Up program, 95% retention rate. They got stuck. Oh, 95% will stay? Because that's a big problem, right? People will leave if you don't invest in them, or they don't feel like they're going to grow, or money, or whatever, right? So then they're like, oh, that's cool, right? So I had the data, and then they also want to know, why would this be successful, right? I don't know, but I'm still the chairperson, so I don't know if they saw, like, but they got me a lot of help, right? So I was still the main face, but I got tons of help. So even they didn't let me go alone, right? High level, I got I forgot his role, but Raul, he's the learning champion. And then the engineering excellence, the director of engineering excellence and the seed funding, like the people that fund these type of projects, they were all on the call with me. They're like, Uzma, you have to change this. No, this, okay, do this. So I had a lot of guidance. And then recurring and non-recurring cost. Cost is a big deal, right? Why would I invest in this? Okay, you found it in the ROI and gap and everything. But what is the recurring cost, right? When I'm selecting 200 plus applications, I need to spend the time. I don't want to do it, I have a family, I don't want to do it alone, right? So we want to put some dollar amount for that. And I cannot share the details, but I meticulously put every single day. I thought about my team, I had 4 leads, I put in all the hours for them. Like, they're gonna work on this, and I need hours for that. Don't be shy of asking for money. So, and then they will cut, they will say, no, we can't do this, okay. But I haven't got that because I researched with Rise Up, I talked to Tajma, said, give me your operating model, and then I copied what she did. So that's why I had less chances of failure. And then, if the concept was not accepted, refine concept, come back here, do it all over again. And then you got accepted, yes, funding and execution, right? So, I said I want to elaborate a little bit. The truth is I almost got rejected. I don't talk about it because it's now successfully running, but there were some people like, Uzma, what are you trying to do? Like, are you like, didn't take me seriously, right? Same thing like my mother, right? She didn't get, taken seriously. So, the slides needed to work, right? I didn't have the time. So I was doing it on the side. I copied over Rise Up slides and I was trying to make it alone. And I went to one mentor, she kind of helped me, but it wasn't like there, right? And then once I got the support, they basically took what I wrote and gave it more graphics. And I'm like, oh, that's how you sell. Because it was like same exactly what I said, but much better with graphics. And then it went through a lot of reviews. Okay, who's my audience? So I was presenting to a very, very busy executive leader. It took me 3 months. Like, oh, they're busy. Okay, next appointment. And finally, it was in August, I think. And then it has to be short and succinct because they're busy people. They're like going from one meeting to another. They don't have time to think, listen to you. What do you want to do? Try to understand your audience, right? I didn't know that, Daniela Carcio, she's the one who put me in front of 20 plus leaders. I had no idea who those people were. I thought that I was just going to go talk to her. But she opened the door for me, right? And then, so I know I talked about seed funding. So how did I turn around to be an entrepreneur? So what is an entrepreneur, right? Anybody? Yeah, the definition of entrepreneur is like externally, they build a big company, there's S corporation, C corporation, whatever, right? They go to seed funder and wherever their source of revenue, and then they create. So entrepreneur is like something like that. It's much slower level, but I think like creating this, like you guys can do it too. You're an intrapreneur, right? You research your company culture, you see where you have to go and convince people. And you have to courage and tenacity. I I think the best thing about being an entrepreneur is that people don't see like all the changes, right? I'm not gonna name names, you know, who changed the electric car and the space program, right? They have a vision. They just go for it, right? I'm not saying I'm to the level that you guys can be that level of high achievers. You have to have the courage, right? And the tenacity, right? But so branding, so okay. There's a twofold here. Like who's Uzma? I don't know her. I don't care. So when I went to two people, Raul and Kevin, so they had brands. They were seed founder. They're the one that people have the leaders see often. So then I put them in front of the audience. The second time that I went, the first time I failed almost, because some people were gonna shut down, and then the VP was like, no, Uzma, this is a good idea. Go work with these people, right? And then I put their faces the second time around. And I had like a little slide. I wrote the slides, but I had the last couple of slides. They're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? So who you put in front of the audience is also very important. And then before I used to call the cohort some like really weird name, it didn't jive, so I changed it. I made it more like fun, aced. Oh, okay. So then they love that idea. So branding is important. And then influencing the right people. I think I talked enough about this. So you guys are with me? I want to see hands. Yay, thank you so much. Okay, so, and then rinse and repeat with improvement. So again, at the beginning I didn't have time, but I made time, and then because I was motivated, I wanted to make a difference, right? So I rinse and repeat with improvement. So you have to hire a reliable team. I had 4 team members. I still had to do a lot of work. That's okay. You learn, right? And then you improve next time. And then collect feedback. So right now, with the cohort, we are collecting feedback continuously. How can we improve? How can we do better next time, right? Okay. All right. So I'm almost done. So before I go, so I travel. This is my trip from Uzbekistan. So these are actual pictures of the map when I went to Bukhara, Uzbekistan. So there's the Rafshan River right here that flows through, but it doesn't reach all the communities. So then the leaders made these ponds. There's like, I think, 103 ponds. And so this is a representation of Bedouins. They used to carry these water skins to go from, work very hard, right, to get water from different places to different places, right? What happened is that beginning of the 20s, so then the 103 ponds were created. Before it was just a river, then we have ponds, it's improvement. But then a leader commissioned the pipelines to be connected to the ponds, and what happened? The job of Bedouins went away, right? You don't need those people because everything is connected. You get water at every corner there you want to go. So my question to you is, do you want to be a water skin carrier? So that camelback thing like you see, that's a water skin. I researched on it, I know. Or a pipeline builder. Remember, one of the highlighted word was a pipeline. So Pajma is created program managers in the pipeline. That's going to sustain the company culture a long time ago. Marisa is still recognized as the founder, and she became to become a CEO. Whatever your career goals are, right? So if I connect with the right people, they will take me to the right people, right places. But if you're carrying the whole load by yourself, it's much harder. Okay? You guys with me? Okay, cool. So, summary is that build something that benefits others. You have to help others grow. You want to help others be successful. Everybody has there's more women engineers needed. There's more diverse engineers, like people from diversity thinking, and not just the outer world, like inside. You have to think different. You need those people in the team, right? So, and then you want it to be, the idea to be sustainable and in a culture that you want to foster, right? Okay, I'm sorry, I was gonna go one at a time, but, so patience. It took me 2.5 years to build this, right? Oops. And once I got the funding, it was still a lot of work. I was working late. But it was all worth it, right? Because it's up and running, and it costs this next year. And I know that Tajma's work is 7 years, it's still running, it's the same company, right? And then always collaborate, because you don't want to do it alone. I tried to find my tribe, I couldn't find it. Remember the solo, the thing? But then I networked, I went to the vice president, she gave me a bunch of people, and then I got the people. I got the people, the right people, right? And then, like I mentioned, it's a lot of work. I didn't think about time. I guess I really wanted to get this going. I wanted to establish a program that will help, because there is a gap. And like I said, 50% of the company was under 5 years, and they didn't know how to become an engineering leader, not just program manager. It's an engineering company. Why don't we have a program to give them those resources like program managers do, right? And then, so that's why I mentioned, time. I think I do mention manage your workload, because your job is your first job. You have to maintain your performances, right? So if I was a poor performer and Uzma comes and does these things, like nobody's gonna take me more seriously. So, okay, maybe I spend like 5%, of the week, and then put the slides together, and then the rest of the week I worked. That's why it took me 2.5 years. If I had more team, I would have gone faster, right? But it's okay. It's at the end, you will not be disappointed, because at the end the results were, the goals were fulfilled. Okay? And then listen and follow through. What I mean by that, I had to work with a lot of leaders that had influences. So some of them, very few, one person actually. I didn't like, but he had some other good ideas. So, and he had the influence to the upper management. So I had to be very okay, and I had to work with him and work hard. But sometimes it's not easy. So you have to, but you remember your goals. You want to get there, right? So you have to work with some difficult scenarios to make things happen. And be kind, be generous, be compassionate, and clear about your goals, because they always, what are you trying to do? Oh, I want to do this. Oh, this is a great idea. Not a single person. The other background that I didn't talk about is that I went to it was like a session with the round table kind of session, and they were on Zoom calls. Have you guys learned about this program? And they're like, what is it? I don't know. Blah blah blah. There was 200 people that replied, and that was my ground for knowing this is gonna work. Every single normal person engineer that I talked to, oh yeah, we need it. We don't have it. How do you do it, right? So I did my field work, and I was talking to a bunch of people, and they all loved it, right? And then patience is the virtue. Again, it took me 2.5 years, so I'm gonna circle back to that. Time is but once you get it going, you're gonna feel very, very good about it. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. And please take survey and leave me feedback. Anything I have to improve. I really enjoy talking about this. So thank you so much. I have my cards here. Feel free to connect with me. If you want to talk to me, I'm more than willing to help you shape your concepts. It's something that you're trying to think about. I can help you guys. Okay? All right, so that's all I have for today.